Hey everyone, this is Matt and Star, Patches, Peg, Bandit, Panama Jack, and Fufu. And we're coming here today, and we just want to talk to you for a few minutes today about S.T.O.P. And we're talking, the lesson today is lesson number 4, which is plan. Remember, that comes from stop, think, observe, and the number 4th plan is plan. Okay? So the Lord tells us in His Word, He tells people to do things and to make plans. In fact, it tells us in Jeremiah 29:11, the Lord says that I have thoughts towards you, thoughts of good and not evil, to bring you to an expected end. Now, that goes along with our story about plan today, and it also goes along with what's going on in our world today. Now, and you know, we have to have a plan. And right now, the plan today, and all of you who are watching this video, whether you're in Leavenworth, Kansas, or in the United States or around the world, if you're seeing this around the world, listen, we have a plan. It's called 15 days to stop the spread. Now, you know what that means. We all know what that means. You don't have to be told to shelter in place by somebody or by the government. Just shelter in place. Can you imagine if everybody, the whole world, would have a plan to say, you know what, I'm going to limit my contact, I'm going to limit going to the clinics, I'm going to limit the things I got to do, and if I don't have to go out, I'm just going to shelter in place. And you're saying, but Paul, do you know what it means to shelter in place? Do you know how hard that's going to be? How hard is that going to be? Really, seriously. You're telling me that you can't find something to do? There's always something to do. Deep clean. I mean, get Netflix and watch movies. Most of us have computers, and if you don't have, if you don't have a computer, you're obviously not watching this. But there's social media. I mean, people are like, oh my God, what are people going to do? They can't go out and socialize. Really? I mean, we have social media. Come on, what is it? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You're hearing this both on Facebook and YouTube. So there's always a plan, and we can always make a plan. Remember, we got to stop, but first you got to stop. Remember, stop. Then stop. Think about what you're going to do. Make the right observations, and then make a plan, and then follow through with the plan. The Bible tells us that faith without works is dead. So you just can't think of a plan. You got to work a plan, even if that plan is meaning stay in place. And remember, a lot of us are following the first step of stop, which is stop where you are, and basically we're sheltering in place. So what was my story about how I got lost? How did I get out of that mess? Well, you know that I stopped, and I said, Paul, you're lost. You need to stop, cool your head. And then I had to think about how I got there. I had to think about what I was doing. I had to think, of different things, where I might be, what do I have available to me. I had to make observations of how to use what was available to me. If I was going to have to shelter in place, if I was going to try to get myself out of that. Do I have water? I have canteens. What was the tools I had available to me? And then I had to make a plan. Now, most of you know that I had a plan. And my plan included, guess what, using a compass. I did not have a map with me, and it probably wouldn't have done me any good in the position I was in. But I did have my compass with me. I always carry my compass when I go outdoors. And so my plan was to just set a plan. So I decided to, you know what, why don't I just set my compass for north? And I'm just going to head for that one set of rocks, and I'm going to just make sure that I stay course of north. I don't know which way I'm going to turn to the left or the right, but if I turn left, I want to make sure that if I go left, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to want to make another turn right. And then if I make another right, then I'm going to have to make another left. Because I do that in 90-degree increments following my compass, that I should maintain some type of line for north, which was my plan. So I took my compass and I started moving forward. And as I was going along, again, stop, think, observe, plan. And part of my observation was there's these stones that were stacked. And they're kind of stacked like this. There was, A, L, N, we're going to make plan. And you know what? And think of these as stones. There's my LGM, my little green man. And, you know, and when you saw these rocks stacked up like this, that is what they call a cairn. And when they're stacked straight up and down like that, that said, hey, you know what? That's a Boy Scout marker. Guess what? Number 2 most popular book in the world you used to read is Boy Scout Handbook. I studied that book. I learned about cairns through the Boy Scout Handbook. And that was a sign. Remember, you're supposed to look for signs of habitation, human habitation. That's what that was. So I said, hey, I'm on the right track here. So, boom, I started moving in that direction. And as I came along down the road, I saw my cairn look like this. And my cairn, when it looked like that, told me I'm supposed to make a left turn. Really, I remember that. So, in the course of making sure I maintained a north-based movement and following the cairns, and those cairns turned me to the left, they turned me to the right, and sometimes they had me going straight. And in about 20 minutes, I made the last turn, turning back north, and as I headed out, the whole desert valley opened back up to me, and the trail was almost right in front of me, and I was able to step on the trail, and within 30 paces, you could see the hood of my car from where I was at. And that's how I got out of that mess. But remember, I did certain things. I did stop, I thought, I observed, and I planned. Now, while we're talking about this in the realm of hiking and camping, this also works well. I know this video is a bit longer, but it's so important right now. It also works in the realm of depression. In the realm of depression, we have to, as we move forward with our plan, we have to take everything that we stopped for, everything we thought for, and observed, and we need to pile that together into the plan that's going to help us and work with us to get us out of our depression. Including, you know, what cairns are out there telling you, hey, you know, if somebody sits up there and says, hey, you know, you should think about this, you need to consider that a cairn, a human habitation saying, come this way. Sometimes you have to be careful. Remember to follow your compass. And I'm not talking about the physical compass of north, south, east. I'm talking about your moral and ethical compass as well. You should follow those as well. And trust. And remember, if something doesn't seem right, what do? You stop. And the same thing goes very well for what's going on right now today with COVID-19. We all should be following the STOP plan. We need to stop, think, observe, and plan. Stop what you're doing. Okay? Think about what you're doing out there for yourself and for others to make it safe for everybody. Don't let your mind run wild. Okay, observe. A good observation point is to observe the statutes and ordinance our government set aside for us from the CDC and your local county and state and local communities. Observe the effects that they put in place, and don't wait for them to say you're required to do that. Do that because you know what, you're making safe, smart choices for yourself and other people. You can be a part of the solution as COVID-19. Okay, it doesn't mean that you won't get it, because we're all susceptible to getting it. But when you follow the right stop, observe, think, observe plan, you will increase your likelihood that you will avoid all this. Or if you get it, okay, it'll be a walk through the park. So it's a very dangerous time. But remember, follow the CDC guidelines. That's a great plan. Anyways, this is Matt and Peg, and the entire Stuff is United for Christ, coming to you from Faith Evangelistic Center, asking you to please be safe, be smart, have a purpose, make sure God is a part of that plan and purpose for your life, and make sure you follow the protocols for safety according to the health departments and CDC for COVID-19. Y'all have a great day.